Hello and welcome back to Mindful Progress, a Journey. Today's a very special day for this podcast because this marks the last episode for this season, and the next episode that will be dropping will be season two's first episode. We will get more into that after the episode, but for now, let the intro roll. This episode will cover the eerie origins, unsettling effects, cultural influence, and more about this nightmarish creature called the Rake. Buckle up as we unravel its tale. The Rake first emerged from the dark corners of online forums and creepypasta stories in the mid 2000s. Described as a gaunt, skeletal figure, it quickly became a legend in the internet horror culture. The Rake originated on 4chan's /b/board in late 2005. A thread was started by an anonymous user who stated, and I quote, "Hey, /b/, let's make a new monster!" exclamatory mark, quotation ends. Naturally, there were many ideas, but one stood out, and another user created a new thread based on this idea. The thread started with this post, and the post reads, "Alright, this is for the people who like the 3 eyes, no apparent mouth, pale skin one. Here's what we've got so far. Humanoid about 6 feet tall when standing, but usually crouches and walks on all fours. It has very pale skin. The face is blank, as in no nose, no mouth. However, it has 3 solid green eyes, one in the middle of its forehead and the other 2 on either side of its head. Towards the back, usually seen in front yards in suburban areas. Usually just watches the observer, but will stand up and attack if approached. When it attacks, a mouth opens up as if a hinged skull that opens at the chin reveals many tiny but dull teeth." And the post ends. The Rake went through many design and name changes during its beginning. One of the more prevalent ones was Operation Crawler. Reposts of the Rake creepypasta began appearing on LiveJournal as early as December 2008. The story made its way to 4chan's /x/paranormal board by April 2009 and to Something Awful by June of that year. In August 2010, the story was first posted to the paranormal subreddit. The Rake was eventually added to horror story databases including creepypasta.com, Creepypasta Wikia, and Creepypasta Index. It was also featured on several paranormal-related websites, including Unexplained Mysteries and The Slender Nation. The most famous accounts of the Rake involve terrifying stories shared by users online. One gripping tale involves a family's chilling encounters with the Rake that led to their mysterious and tragic end. Let me read out the story shortly to give you guys an idea of what happened. The story begins with a family who started experiencing unsettling events in their home. Strange noises, unexplained disturbances, and a feeling of being watched became common. Initially, these incidents were dismissed as coincidences or overactive imaginations. Things took a darker turn when the family reported seeing a tall, emaciated figure near their home. This figure, later identified as the Rake, had glowing eyes and a disturbing presence. The family felt an overwhelming sense of dread whenever the creature was around. As time went on, the sightings of the Rake became more frequent and disturbing. The family felt as though they were being stalked. The creature left marks on their property and even invaded their home, causing intense fear. One night, the family faced a particularly terrifying encounter with the Rake. The creature appeared inside their home, and the family was overwhelmed by fear. It was described as a suffocating presence, and they felt it as they were being hunted. The following morning, the family was found dead under mysterious circumstances. The cause of death was unclear, but there were signs of struggle and evidence suggesting that the Rake had been present. The state of their bodies and the condition of the house indicated extreme fear and trauma. This tragic encounter became a significant part of the Rake legend, adding to its reputation as a malevolent and dangerous entity. The story of the family's fate later contributed to the Rake's lore, making it one of the most chilling and impactful accounts associated with this modern myth. Those who claim to have encountered the Rake often describe extreme fear, paranoia, and psychological trauma. The stories suggest that the Rake's presence can lead to unsettling and sometimes tragic outcomes, like the one I just read. The spread of the Rake legend has influenced countless individuals, contributing to a growing fascination with urban myths and horror stories online. The Rake is very mysterious, but it seems to be quite sadistic, cruel, and misanthropic, preferring to stalk, torture, and then murder its victims. The Rake is not always evil, sometimes it just prances around in the wilderness. If it gets looked at or pictured, it will either attack or stalk you and then kill you later. Nevertheless, the Rake is still a dangerous threat who will not hesitate to slaughter anyone in a sadistic and monstrous way. The Rake has inspired various forms of media, from short films and video games to other horror stories. Its influence on the horror genre is significant as it embodies a modern take on classic fear elements. Online communities have played a crucial role in developing and spreading the Rake legend. The Rake is typically described as a tall, emaciated figure with long limbs, sharp claws, and hollow, dark eyes. Its appearance is both human and monstrous, adding to its terror. It is known for its stealth and speed. The Rake is said to induce fear and paranoia in its victims. Its abilities include appearing suddenly and vanishing without a trace, heightening the sense of dread. Some facts about the Rake include the Rake's existence is unclear. It is rumored to have been a human at one point that was mutated and gifted immortality, which seems likely due to its humanoid appearance. It is also possible that the Rake is some kind of alien from another world or planet. The Rake has been alive for hundreds of years, dating back to the 17th century, proving it to be an immortal entity. The Rake has connections to the Slender Man, and the creator's name is unknown for the Rake. The Rake was inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. And that was everything about the Rake. If you think I've missed something or glossed over some facts, you can always email me or contact me in my socials. As for the future of this podcast, the season 1 has been concluded with this episode. The season had a total of 6 episodes, which might not be a lot, but it was good enough as a starting point. The reason of me not uploading episodes for the past month was that I was on a break and couldn't manage the time very well. However, second season will be starting soon, probably from next month, and that will contain my own horror stories, which I do hope all of you will enjoy. And the benefit of it having my own stories will be that I won't have to just read out the discussions and the summary of it. I can provide the actual whole story because I won't have to fear any copyright infringements that might come my way. Because as the story I'm reading, I still have to modify it a lot so that I don't get any copyrights, because these stories don't belong to me. I'm just revising them and compiling them in another version and then reading them out. But whatever, the second season will be starting soon, probably from next month. And yeah, I hope you guys will enjoy. I'm also part of a company now, the name of the organization being Luminous Constellations. You can find the other members' work online, and please show them some love and support. That would mean the world to me. Me joining the organization will not affect the podcast, but it is a mean of helping and grow each other. That was all from me. It was your host, Torrid Embrox, and I do hope to see you all again soon. Until then, have a good night and keep your lights on.